conversation, and the tabloids have made, you know, a huge story out of this over the last few weeks. How much damage is it doing generally to the, well, certainly for this campaign?
It's not having any damage at all. I think the reality is that the country is in a financial mess for all sorts of reasons. And I think part of that is having a huge defence budget and spending millions of dollars, millions of pounds on a defence budget, on a war that is completely illegal. It's probably the biggest thing that the country spends on. But really, I mean, for me it's a simple argument. It's simple. You take Jerry Conlon. When he was released, eventually after it was shown that he was convicted based on a gross miscarriage of justice, he received approximately $500,000 or more or less, I don't know, I don't really care. The point is that he received compensation. In this country, that's what we do. If somebody has been tortured and abused and imprisoned without charge or trial and held in the most disgusting conditions, and we have not only been party to it, in fact we in some cases, I know in my case, it couldn't have happened. I would not have gone to Guantanamo, I would not have been taken into custody had it not been for the British. Absolutely no doubt. I know that also the case of several others. They are the ones who made it happen. They made it happen. The Americans didn't make it happen. The Pakistanis didn't make it happen. It was the British. In that case, therefore, when you present this argument to other people, you say, well, you know, you guys did it for the money, and you did it for this, and you did it for that. It is irrelevant what they think in this regard, because unless what we're saying is that it's okay to do this to people, and then to let them go and say, pick up your own lives, then we need to change our laws. We need to say that it's okay to do this, and that we as a public acquiesce to this. So that if anything happens to us as individuals, we have no right to seek any compensation, no criminal injury seeking awards, and it should all be put aside. So it's an illogical argument.
Also, like that, this country, this government has already been spending more than has been reported on a daily basis, 20 billion in the Iraq war, and it's assisting an invasion which the American US government has been working in the Iraqi war and in Afghanistan, more than 20 billion. Another estimate says 20 million, another 30 million on top of this 20 million to pay to all these people who came back from their injury. So nearly more than 50 billion has been spent on an illegal war, on an invasion, assisting another country, another invading country, which not even, it hasn't even been started by this country, it has been started by the United States, and they assisting them into this invasion. They spend, nobody has questioned these things. Nobody has questioned the bombs, the aeroplanes, how much they spend on each plane and each bomb they send to innocent people. Nobody has questioned the money they've been paying on these things. The other thing is that the money that we receive, we are not supposed to speak about that. We cannot say how much each one of us has received. But think about what we lost inside prison. Then some of us were innocently 10 years in prison, weren't able, for my example, I'm a lawyer. I wasn't able to continue to work as a lawyer for 10 years. I was prevented, not by my own will, not because they accused me of anything. They haven't charged me of anything. They haven't convicted me of any crime. What we lost inside there, some of us lost their eyesight. Some of us lost their hand. One of us, his hand was amputated inside prison because every time he asked for medical assistance, they say, go away, you effing terrorist. Until his hand was so bad enough that they said the only solution for it is to be amputated. And others, some of us were damaged beyond repair psychologically. I know some of my friends who really can't go even to work, can't do anything because of the experience that they went through inside prison. The families were broken down. Some of them have lost any contacts with any of their children until recently. Some of them are very difficult for them to go back to work because every time they apply for work and they've been asked, where have you been? Because the CV says, some of us 3 years or 4 years, where have you been from this year to this year? And when you say, I've been in Guantanamo Bay, this is the last they want to hear from you. It's finished. So there are many, many reasons for those compensations. And I don't even claim, because the way they portrayed it, the government portrayed it as millions. People would imagine there's so much money, but they're not. We are not allowed to say how much, but if you know how much each one of us received, you will recognize how little compared to the... Then, the other thing that Imam said one day, I remember, what amount of money will compensate the experiences, the humiliation and the mistreatment? No amount of money, whatever, how much it might be, will give that back. And more, I could go on and on. There's so much to talk about this. As I said, it's just sad that every time we write something to newspapers, or we answer back, we don't get published. If somebody, a moron, would say something, it will get me published. And that's another sad thing, that there is nothing that we can do.
I just wanted to say, I mean,